final flush? Crypto companies are winding up left, right and center as Bitcoin tests key resistance and clarity inches forwards. Is this a bottom signal, or is there more pain to come? Faulty tech. Earnings calls from Alphabet and Tesla last week saw both stocks sell off. With more big-name earnings this week, we look at whether concerns around AI spending are about to break containment. And we'll have Matt with the TA, tweets of the week, dates for your diary, and much more besides. This is the Coin Bureau News, live.
GM Coin Bureau fam, happy Monday and welcome back to another episode of the Coin Bureau Crypto News live stream, the last news episode of July. I can't even believe it, guy. It's already the end of July. We're already 1 month into Q3. Can you believe it? It flies, man.
I mean, it seems to be accelerating, doesn't it? What a year.
Oh my God, can it just end? Can it just end? Can you put us out of our misery? Can we bring in 2027 at least? Oh man, yeah. So
scrub 2026 from the record. Let's try again.
Yeah. Anyways, well, guys, we're going to go, of course, and take a look exactly what's going on right now in the markets, because last week was a crazy busy week with a lot of news going on with clarity. This is the final countdown. Everyone's honed in on and basically locked in on the Twitter timeline to see what the latest is from the next statement from a Democrat and a Republican over there with the Senate members. And of course, there's also a lot of attrition going on in the crypto space right now, guy. Like we've seen a lot of projects, some crypto exchanges going under as well.
Yeah. It's tough when the exchanges are going down. I mean, projects go to the wall all the time, but actually, the exchanges, the people who generally make money even during down periods, when they start going down, that's when you know things are bad.
It's really bad when you ask yourself, wow, I didn't even know they were still around. When they announced it, it was like, wow, BitMEX is still around. Oh, cool. Okay. Well, it was
winding up.
Rather late than never. Yeah, that happened last week. But then over in the tech space and in the stock space, we had some record earnings from Alphabet. And, it also, but after that, we saw a collapse in the share price. And then we also had Tesla's earnings. And this then brings out again the same question which we faced the week before, which is whether the AI spend is sustainable. And that's the big thing that's spooking the markets right now, because it's now the second consecutive negative weekly close for the S&P 500 since March. So that's an interesting fact for you guys. As to why things are looking a little bit dicey. So we'll be taking a look at that, as well as Matt with some of the TA tweets of the week and some dates for the diary. But of course, guys, if you do enjoy these streams, please help some crypto bros out, give us some love, hit the like. I'm ambitiously aiming, let's try and get 20%. I can get 20%. If we can get 20%, then 20% likes, in the next stream, Guy will drop his Alpha X account, where he shares all his juicy alpha, exclusive friends and family and VIPs.
Exactly. And if we get to 30% likes, then I'll have a haircut for next week. A few people.
I was going to say, bro, when you're coming on the stream, I was like, Brent is going to have a field day.
There's just a lot of it, I'm trying a new look. I did actually have a rough weekend, as it happens. I didn't get an awful lot of sleep. There was a lot of family time going on, so it was a tough one. But thanks for everyone for your concern. Fortunately, it's all still working up here. Well, we'll see about that. Maybe not, but thanks for those, what I'm going to take as good wishes.
They're good wishes, mate. But let's dive in then and take a look at the week last week on the week in Bitcoin. So it started off, as you recall, with a lot of questions, the on and off war going on, and we basically got this oil crashing and stocks rallying because of announcement that we could potentially have a ceasefire, as mediators were trying to push a ceasefire, because if you recall, it broke down over that weekend with ships being attacked, and that was the weekend after the big attacks on US bases over there in the Middle East as well.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there was also a bit of a tailwind for crypto because there was some bullishness on Clarity as well.
Yeah.
Yes, Eleanor Terrett here was reporting that the White House reportedly agreed on an ethics package. This was obviously is still, I should say, the big sticking point. The fact that the person passing or the person who would sign this into law has benefited rather well from crypto, and obviously Democrats aren't too happy about that. But it looked like at least a week ago that we might be making progress there.
Yes, but of course, the devil is in the detail. A nice little disclaimer that we have to add to that, which we'll come back to in a bit. Nevertheless, Bitcoin took its cue and it shot above 66K.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, there was, and then we had another one.
Oh, you guys. Guys in the stream, if you're watching, I hope you guys are familiar with the DJ Khaled, another one meme, because Guy wasn't too familiar with it. But then, to be fair, I don't know how familiar Guy is with a lot of hip hop lingo. But
I mean, DJ Khaled rings a bell, but I mean that's about all I know of him. But yes, this was the news that not only had Jack Mallers, the Bitcoin maxi extraordinaire, stepped down as CEO of 21 Capital, but also that Satsuma, which was a UK-based DAT, that announced that it was winding up as well. So we sort of had two DATs down in a day.
That's it, man. Yeah, and then that's a wrap. Then on Wednesday we had Brent breaking above $95 on renewed fighting. This is where we had daily bombing of Iran by the US.
And Wednesday was also the big earnings day as well that Nick was talking about earlier. Google was first. Alphabet, Google's parent company, reported. I mean, on the face of it, the numbers were good. Revenue was up 24%. Its cloud storage unit had grown 82% just in Q2. However, a lot of the problem stemmed more from what they were spending rather than what they were earning, right?
Yeah, exactly. The stock sold off because of that, and we'll be getting onto that in a bit. And of course, it was also the Tesla earnings on that day. And yeah, it was also the Tesla earnings. They weren't too good, actually, in general, but we'll be getting onto that as well, concerns about cash flow. Then on Thursday, more news came out from the Dems. Now, they had the response to Clarity. And the main points here are that they weren't happy with the wording. One of them actually called it and I quote, piece of shit. Whatever piece of shit Republicans sent back to us, that was not a serious effort. And this is from one of the Democrats who could potentially vote on it. And there were many other points to it as to reasons why, right, Guy?
Yes, that's right. But in most part, it comes down to the fact that they're just not happy with these ethics provisions, and there's the fact that Trump and his family have made an absolutely ungodly amount of money from this thing, and Democrats and others are sort of saying, well, that's got to stop. And it seems like there's a lot of sort of horse trading and back and forth going on, but essentially, it's that these ethics provisions are just not up to scratch for the 8 or so Democrats that they need to get the bill passed.
Yeah, and I think the main things there, just to narrow down on the particular details, is one, it doesn't apply for his current projects, World Liberty Financial, which is earning massive amounts of interest on because of the stable coin. It doesn't apply to the meme coin, obviously. It's got a sunset clause that conveniently sunsets the whole provision on Jan 2029 when he is not president anymore, so they can't go after him. There is also no word about family members. And finally, the main issue they take with it is because it's the legal authority that can enforce this provision is the DOJ. Now, I don't know how impartial the Democrats think that Trump's DOJ is about investigating Trump himself. But yeah.
Yeah. That's none of that is particularly helpful to getting it passed, getting it forward over the line. We live and hope for the Clarity Act getting through. And then also on Thursday we had another one bite the dust.
Another one.
Yeah, that's that's BitMEX this time. That is BitMEX, yes. Surprise. Well, I mean, look, BitMEX is an OG exchange, right? They literally invented the perpetual futures exchange, future product.
Yeah. These guys, these are sort of pioneers in a way, and it just kind of goes to show, doesn't it? Being first to something, being the pioneer of a particular product doesn't mean that you actually end up being the one that ultimately perfects it or ultimately benefits. These guys were ahead, but the likes of Hyperliquid and now Lighter and all these others have kind of come along and iterated on that original idea.
That's true. Also, BitMEX, I mean, there's many stories back in the day around how it traded against traders and all that kind of stuff, I mean, so probably not the end of the world, probably for the better. But look, I mean, we need to have some consolidation here anyway. Then, sorry, I lost track where we're at. Yeah, so then Bitcoin fell below 65K on Thursday.
Yes. So, which brings us to Friday, and we had yet more Clarity Act updates, inching ever forward. But actually, it was much more interesting given what was happening in TradFi, because given SpaceX's recent travails as well, Elon Musk is no longer a trillionaire.
The humanity. Oh my God, how will he afford to live?
How will he get by? Yeah.
I mean, crazy. Yeah.
But, well, I was going to say that may not be good news, but we did have some excellent news regarding our tokenized future, the idea of tokenizing everything. And this is tokenized cows.
Yes, indeed. So basically, the farmer is going to use these cows as collateral for loans, tokenized cows. And that's the ultimate proof of stake, I must say. Yeah. I mean, crazy. There's crypto adoption. There's blockchain adoption, man. Who cares about the ETF inflows and all that when you literally tokenize in livestock, man? That's the future.
This is what we've basically been working towards, ever since the Bitcoin white paper was published all those years ago. This is the point to which we've been building, and that is tokenized cows. It feels great to finally be here.
Satoshi must be proud. He must be so proud.
Okay, so that was Friday, and then over the weekend there was more war stuff to be getting on with.
Yeah, well, no, actually there was none. That's surprising. So there was you had 10 straight days prior to that, and then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, no strikes. And apparently the US is giving mediation some time. The Iranians are discussing with the Omanis to see about some sort of a protocol for managing the strait. So they appear to be talking again, and as a result, oil prices fell and Bitcoin caught a bid. But and then on the weekend we had yet another one. And this one is
another one.
Bitmart, right, guy?
Oh man, yeah. This is definitely the theme of the week. I think the theme of last week, and maybe even the theme of this week, is projects going down. But another exchange that had been around for a while, still feeling that bull market pain.
BMX token. I like the BMX. That's cool. Cool token name. Cool token ticker. And then if you thought that was done, we had another one because we had a project this time, storage, which it's an OG project, man. This is like blockchain storage. This goes back to 2018, man.
Yeah. And again, this was one of those sectors that we sort of thought, well, yeah, there's definitely the use case was fairly easy to see here, and of course there are others like Filecoin and Arweave and I think Walrus more recently. But storage, as you say, was one of the OGs, one of the first in that particular category, and it just hasn't been able to make it.
Yeah, man, it's tough out there. It's tough. Anyways, what's to come, guys? Well, it's a massive, massive week ahead. We've got 4 big tech, 3 of the hyperscalers. We got Amazon, Meta, Apple, and that's coming up. We've also got the PCE, the FOMC, GDP, Iran war continuing, everything but clarity, because apparently there's nothing in the weekly schedule on the Senate floor for clarity votes. So remember, this is 2 weeks left. 2 weeks left. So it's not this week. They got to vote next week. Otherwise, it goes to the August recess, because politicians naturally have to take a long break because they work so hard for the American people. That's tough.
Well, they have to take a long break to go off and manage their stock portfolios, Nick.
Of course, yeah, that is the real work that needs to be done. They need to go and get in on all the tips there. But yeah, that's what's coming this week. In terms of charts, I'll very quickly, briefly look back into the weekly. As you can see, we still holding above the 200-week simple moving average, close to the 50-month moving average, exponential moving average, which could be a potential resistance zone. It's this critical level, the 65K zone. But to be honest, we are holding up quite well under the circumstance. You had, like I said, the stock space, what's happened with stocks over the past 2 weeks, and in terms of the Middle East tensions ratcheting up again, it's quite surprising how well it's held up. One more chart I want to do some TA on is this one, and this is the odds on the Clarity Act passing. And as you can see, it's got this clear downtrend, and it's been trying to go through this trend over the past few weeks. It's basically acted as a resistance level, and we did actually manage to break above the resistance level about a week ago when we had the news. But unfortunately, as you can see, that kind of looks like a head and shoulders pattern. And as per TA, that basically is a bearish sign. So that's why we back down again. And yes, I'm making all of this up. And no, you can't do TA on on the odds of Clarity pass. I just thought it'd be fun to look at. But yeah, the trend is down.
I like it. That's for all the TA I know. I think that's good analysis there, Nick. I love it. Okay, so yeah, I'm not holding my breath for the Clarity Act, I must say.
Neither am I. But if you guys think that Clarity is going to pass and you think that we're going to have a renewed altcoin pump, we couldn't think of a better place to trade these altcoins than on 2bit. So 2bit is a top-tier international exchange. We've got a solid interface, deep liquidity, and competitive fees. And onboarding is just really simple. All you need is an email address. That's it. You can create an account and explore the platform and see whether the trading interface works for you. And currently, Coin Bureau has an offer for all of you viewers out there of up to 90K in trading rewards, alongside a lifetime VIP level 1 upgrade and 50% off trading, which is basically 50% off trading fees for life. So if you want to avail yourself of those benefits and those trading fee discounts, just scan that QR code right now on the screen or hit the link down below.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's have a look at what's going on in the comments. A good question here from Seka4722. All these exchanges going under, is this a sign for the bottom, or should we wait for a few treasury companies to go under as well? Well, as we reported earlier, a couple of treasury companies did wind up last week. I wouldn't be surprised if there are probably quite a few more to go, though. Wouldn't you think so, Nick?
There are a few more to go for sure, especially on the treasury company side. So, look, it's generally the kind of stuff that you start seeing happen near a bottom, but I wouldn't go so fast. And at least on Bitcoin side, I think it's reasonable to say we could be near a bottom. We've been close to a bottom in formation. I think that. But in terms of the actual crypto space itself, yeah, this is right now, time-based capitulation. What's going on?
Yeah. And of course, we are heading into August and the summer break period, where markets tend to sort of slow down a lot as well. There's certainly a lot less institutional activity as well, so that could kind of weigh on sentiment. I guess sort of more sideways chop will probably be the order of the day. So yes, I think there's probably more to come in the on the exchanges and treasury company failure radar. And there was one other question. How far did Guy get on University Challenge? I haven't actually watched University Challenge recently, but I never do very well because it's far too difficult. Do you have that in South Africa, Nick?
No. What is that?
It's a quiz show where universities put up teams against each other, and it's known for being sort of quite highbrow and quite difficult. It's not like what is the capital of France. It's it's proper hard questions. As a smart cookie yourself, I'm sure it's the sort of thing you'd enjoy.
I don't know, man. I'm a big fan of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but I mean, I can try it. University challenge. Okay.
This is a much more highbrow version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Okay, so Eton and Cambridge and Oxford are basically move over the Oxbridge or the rowing team, the rowing competition. The University challenge is the ultimate showdown.
Exactly, and you do get some interesting characters on it for as well. And yes, I suppose I do look like a University Challenge captain from the 1970s. That is the look that I was going for. Okay, let's talk about the big tech blowout, Nick, because as we talked about earlier, we had some earnings calls last week, and I should underline the fact that we have more to come this week. We are in big tech earnings season at the moment right now, and for reasons that we're going to get into in just a moment, this is very important. But yeah, last week, as you'll see from this photo of us taken around that time, was a bit tough for those of us in tech.
Yeah, again, I've aged 15 years because of the collapse in the price of Google and Tesla. But yeah, so it started off with Google and Alphabet, and the numbers, it was a genuine beat across the board. We had revenue up $119 billion, which is up 24%. The Google Cloud revenue was a massive 82% year-on-year up. So basically everything the market asked for, at least on the revenue side, was a genuine broad-based beat.
Yeah, it came in above expectations. The problem, though, again, as we alluded to earlier, was the amount that they were spending. CapEx was raised. Alphabet raised its CapEx to $205 billion. And that raises the full year 2026 CapEx guidance to between 195 and 205 billion. Which is an absolutely staggering amount of money. And of course, that is all going on AI.
Yep, indeed. And this is above the 200 billion threshold that many investors were worried about. And also for Google, which used to be a cash machine, it's because of this AI spend, it literally had its free cash flow turned negative, which is wild to think.
Yeah.
And as a result of this, the stock fell. Actually, it fell 5% in the after hours, despite having one of the best earning prints in big tech history.
Yeah. And there seems to be a kind of pattern establishing itself here. We get stellar results. The stocks sell off anyway. For instance, TSMC, the chip manufacturer, was down around 7%, despite record earnings just the week before. So yeah, they're kind of, these stocks at the moment are kind of priced for perfection, right? And investors are starting to wonder where, or when, I should say, this monster expenditure is going to pay off.
Yeah, for sure, and that's what is on everyone's mind right now. And Tesla was also no stranger to the spend. Basically, it came in. EPS was well below the analyst forecast, so it wasn't too good. Even though the revenue was strong, their earnings per share was down. And their free cash flow was negative. Again, another minus 1.1 billion. It was the first cash burning quarter since early 2024. So yeah, again, it's just this CapEx. It more than doubled to 5.8 billion in the quarter, and it's spent mostly on AI and robotics infrastructure.
Yeah, and this is really interesting, I think, because Tesla is increasingly positioning itself as an AI and robotics company and not just an EV maker. I mean, I remind you that it's been a long time since they actually unveiled a new car. I mean, obviously, the Cybertruck came out, a year or so ago. But really, they haven't made any new cars in a very long time, and it seems like that is part and parcel of this push that they're going to become more AI and robotics. But the problem there is that revenue from AI and robotics just isn't materializing yet, and the spend is coming sort of way ahead of any sort of proof of concept at scale. We've seen Elon Musk talk about Optimus robots and what have you, but they are still, it seems like they are still some way off.
Yeah, they are. But I mean, I also broke this down a bit more in depth for our members. If you are basically a Coin Bureau Club Lite member, you will have seen broke it down over the weekend, not just Tesla and Alphabet, but also the broader AI sector and some of the potential stocks there that could be attractively valued, even though we've seen a fall in price. The Coin Bureau Lite YouTube membership is basically much, as the name would suggest, a light version of our full Coin Bureau. Our full Coin Bureau Club. It only $10 a month, and you get access to these members only videos, which are basically what our full club members get in the Discord. But you get to see the videos as well, and you can get a bit of a snippet of what we cover in the club, as well as just general updates in terms of the market and what's popping off. So if you guys want to sign up to the Coin Bureau Club Lite, again, just $10 a month, you can scan the QR code right there, and it will take you over. And give it a follow and see what we got coming out. I believe Guy also did an update today. And also, if you're a full club member over in the Discord, we have at least 5 to 6 research feed posts a day. I mean, today you did one also on the optimism, the potentially misplaced optimism on clarity.
Yes, I was talking about that. And also I have to shout out some of our researchers there as well, who've made some absolutely amazing calls, a few Robinhood chain calls, among others. Kevin, one of our researchers, had a 12x pop off recently. So there are great things happening inside there. And so just to round off the talk about AI and earnings, Nick, as we said, there are more coming. I think we've got Microsoft and Meta on Wednesday, and then we've got Apple and Amazon reporting earnings on Thursday. So again, I think these have probably all got to go the same way. They've got to beat expectations, but they've also got to offer some positive guidance, I guess, on where all this CapEx spending is leading to, and are they going to continue it, and is it actually going to yield anything tangible soon?
Yeah, and unfortunately, it seems as if our YouTube stream has died. Although the Twitch, the X stream is still going and Twitch is still going, YouTube is down. So I don't know what happened there.
This is probably a result of those earnings, not Alphabet's earnings. Not.
No, YouTube basically heard us talking shit about the Alphabet earnings, and they're like, "Wait a second, no, not on our platform." So yeah. I mean, crazy shit. Okay, well, YouTube is down. I don't know if it's back up now. It's probably down now. It's not. It's off. So if you guys watch it on YouTube, you can watch it later. Hopefully, what is our production team saying? It's on private. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, it is what it is. Mess that up. But look, if you guys are looking to trade, Alphabet, yes, you still want to trade Alphabet or Tesla or any of the AI names in the space, and you're crypto native. The best place you could potentially do that is over on BitGet or BitGet TradFi. So you can swap your Bitcoin for all kinds of tokenized TradFi assets, commodities, stocks, etc. And you can trade directly with USDT up to 500 times leverage with the deepest liquidity and the lowest slippage. So all you need to do is scan that QR code and or you can hit the link in the description and go over and give BitGet a try. And there's up to $50,000 in sign-up bonuses available should you choose to take that deal.
Boom. How about that? Okay, let's go to some TA. This week, it's our Aussie correspondent, Matt, with his TA thoughts. So, Matt, take it away, sir.
Matt with the charts, red or green, calling the moves before they're seen.
What's up, guys? Matt Stella here from Coin Bureau Trading, giving you guys an update on where I see Bitcoin moving over the next few days, especially as we have a heap of news coming up. You can see that we've got the federal fund rates on Wednesday. We have GDP numbers on Thursday, PCE data, and of course, we have the big one that I am personally watching, which is the BOJ policy rate. I'm thinking if these guys come out and do a surprise rate hike, that we could see some major turmoil on the markets. Nevertheless, this week I am expecting a heap of volatility to come in. So I am very much focused on scalp positions versus larger timeframe plays. But I do want to show you what I'm seeing on Bitcoin right now, because as we've been monitoring this on the Coin Bureau Trading channel every Monday and every Wednesday at 1 p.m. my time, which is in the UK, or 4 p.m. if you're in Dubai as well. I'm looking at the fact that Bitcoin still has not broken above the $67,000 mark. Now, that for me is the critical level on Bitcoin. If price can break above the $67,000 mark, then I'll be looking at further upside towards the 70K mark. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like on the daily time frame in a moment, because that's where it really makes it really easy to have a look at. But what I'm thinking to happen right now is very, very simple. Where price is sitting at the moment, you can see we've had a liquidity wick to the top of the range. On Mondays, we always do get a lot of false movements that do take effect. And on Sunday night, we had some really basic volatility kick in off the back of the ceasefire, again, happening from the Iran and US war. So I take a lot of that with a grain of salt moving forward now. But the part I want to bring your attention to is where price is sitting right now. What I'm expecting to happen is price come back again and retest that 64K area, since the fact that we have now taken out the liquidity that sat around the $65,500 mark. Now, if you look at this on the daily time frame, it does make it really easy to have a look at. If you look to the left of the time frame, we're very much still in a range trade. I can show you what that looks like on my other chart as well to keep it really, really simple. But you can see now that Bitcoin is trending back below around the $65,500 mark, it is going to be a challenge for Bitcoin to come back up and retake the range. In reality, we need Bitcoin to hold above $67,000 and then essentially break out of this downwards trend that has been happening since essentially the start of November 2025. So a lot of people are trying to scream that the bottom is on for Bitcoin. Me personally, I'm not of that nature just yet. I still do think Bitcoin has a lot of work to be done. And I think personally that we're not going to see a real big catalyst for the market to go up until probably towards the back end of the year once all this dust is settled and we've got some more clarity around all the rate hikes that is expected to take place. With the BOJ, which is the big one that I'm focused on, expecting to hike rate now by about 3 times by the end of December. So let me just bring your attention over as well to the USDT dominance chart. This is the big one that I'm watching for. If you're not watching this in the crypto space, please do yourself a favor, put this down on your charts, USDT dominance. Really simple fact. If this goes up, the crypto market then goes down alongside it. If this goes down, then the Bitcoin and crypto market continues to push up towards the upside, right? The reason for that is they have a direct inverse correlation. And I want to show you guys this on the weekly time frame. Have a look at this. We are very much still in a weekly uptrend on USDT dominance. Despite the fact of all the noise and everything that is happening, we simply just retested the low that has happened last week. And if you look at that right now, you can see that's around the 8.3% mark, and you can see that price is still just holding along that range. What I mean by price, I just mean the USDT dominance percentage point. But keep an eye on that. You can see it on the daily time frame. Price is just hovering around there. It is still within the range. Hence why Bitcoin is still within the range of what I'm looking at between $60,000 and essentially $67,000. But I do expect Bitcoin to head back towards the $64,000 mark, where you can see the big fat order zone sitting below, and that's where price has historically been getting picked up from. Right now, I don't have any big, strong conviction. I don't think we're going bang straight up to the upside, breaking out towards 67,000. We've had a nice little pump. That's off the back of the oil announcement, right? The ceasefire and oil prices dropping about 8% overnight. But otherwise, I don't see much conviction within the market. The big one that people are going to have on their radar is the Clarity Act, which I think just got tabled literally an hour ago. So we should have a decision on that within the next 48 hours. But otherwise, guys, keep an eye on essentially the $67,200 mark. If price can break back above that level, retest successfully, then 70K will be on my radar. If not, and we do get volatility continue to come in, then 64 to 62K will be the low that I will be watching for over the next couple of days. Like I said, if I'm trading, it's going to be scalps. I'm not going to be holding positions overnight. So good luck out there this week. There's a lot happening. And of course, no need to FOMO because we do have a lot of announcements coming out this week. Bitcoin still has a lot of resistance above. We've had some good early signs, but again, a lot of that is off the back of a relief rally. So be careful out there. Good luck. And I hope you all smash it. I'll see you on Coin Bureau Trading. See ya.
Epic. Thanks for the alpha there, Matt. And yeah, if you guys, as Matt said, if you want to watch these updates and see Matt trading live over, you can do it over on the Coin Bureau Trading. You can subscribe now. We're scanning that QR code. Matt streams every Monday and I think Thursday. And of course, we've got Geordie and Aaron there as well. So go over and subscribe. We've also got a few more hosts potentially for the channel. So bit of a spoiler, but yeah, keep a check and sign that and subscribe to the Coin Bureau Trading.
Exciting times, new faces joining the team there. Can't wait. Okay, shall we have a look at some tweets of the week?
Let's roll.
Okay, tweets of the week. First up, we have this one from Star Platinum. This was posted on X a few days ago. As you can see, this is quite a long list, but by no means exhaustive, I should say, of some of the crypto projects and what other that have shut down recently. At the top, we have BitMEX and Bitmart, those exchanges. But yeah, boy, a lot of ones there, including some really old school names. Loopring. Do you remember Loopring, Nick?
Man, I'm surprised. Yeah, well, I'm also surprised some of these were still around, to be honest. Like I said, I mean, I was more surprised by some of these still being around than the fact that some are closing down. And there's definitely some that I know closed that are not on this list. So it's crazy, man. It's rough out there, mate.
It is rough. It's tough to see. It is kind of, I guess, a natural part of a healthy market in a way. Some make it and some don't. Well, some make it, most don't. But it is still tough to see all those ones going to the wall. Okay, so that was Star Platinum. We also had this one from Exit Pump. What's going on here?
So it's apparently a screenshot of a Google review. So basically a Google local review of some description of some sort of an establishment. And apparently the review says, but Michael has a review that says, very good gay bar. And the gay bar in question, named the Ethereum Foundation, has replied that they are not a gay bar. So
easy mistake to make, I guess.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Jeez. Anyways, those unicorn dances kind of stuff, mate. I mean, of course, that's typical gay bar stuff.
Easy to get the wrong idea, I'm sure, the wrong end of the stick, so to speak. Okay, next up, on an entirely different note, this is a post from Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA. And actually, what's interesting in particular is that this is the first time he's ever posted on X.
Yeah, and he chose it as an opportunity to sing the good word of open source models, to vouch and rally for open source models. So good on him. Yeah,
good for him. So so that's Jensen's first. Does this mean he's going to be tweeting a lot? We'll see. Okay, now this next one was something that I actually tweeted about this, saying pretty much the state of crypto summed up in one tweet. Phantom plans to end its support for Monad Network on August 26th. Monad, obviously, there was a lot of excitement around that when it launched not all that long ago. Phantom integrating it. Obviously, Phantom, I think, for my money, is probably the best front end, in all of crypto, certainly for retail. And that's a big blow, but it just shows that these new projects, it seems, are just not able to gain enough traction.
Yeah, it's tough there, man. And some terrible news for the 10 Monad users 10 remaining Monad. Oh, okay. Then the last one, unfortunately, is this one by Travis Kling. And it did the rounds, and I'm not going to read it out perfectly. I'm not going to read it out entirely, but it's basically the irony of the crypto industry heralding Trump as the pro-crypto president, platforming him, basically glazing him, going to the White House, rallying for the crypto legislative clarity, and essentially his rugs and scams not only made him the most money he's ever made in his life, but have now probably contributed to the Democrats basically voting against it, and as a result, we don't even get crypto clarity. So all we're stuck with is Trump's meme coin, his projects, Genius Act, which good for the stablecoin issuers, good for banks. We don't get crypto clarity. What do we have? What do we have to show for from the pro crypto president? So,
yeah. I think what's particularly interesting is that last line of Travis's post there. Honestly, exactly what the crypto industry deserves. I think there's some debate to be had over this one. I can see what he's getting at here. This is an industry that kind of built up so many grifters and sort of, so many people who just promoted it as a get rich quick scheme. And then, clutched at their pearls when someone came in and used it as a get rich quick scheme, or get richer quick. scheme.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, you ferment.
Yeah.
You get the leader you deserve, man. I'm sorry. It's kind of like they lobbied for him. I mean, many people did. They basically he was at the Bitcoin conference. He was there. I mean, maybe they may have thought that he would had a change. He really did have a change of heart, and even though despite he was skeptical of crypto in the past, that he really did value it this time around. But the results speaks to themselves, right? So, is what it is.
And it sucks. It sucks for all the people, who are genuinely trying to build useful things and who aren't trying to extract value. And believe it or not, there are plenty of those about, and there are plenty of teams, I'm sure, who have, trying to build these cool things, these useful things, who've watched all the sort of meme coin extraction and all the sort of bad vibes that have been generated by that, and probably a lot of them are wondering why they bothered. And it's tough. It's tough. So, can't say Trump has been particularly good for crypto, what with one way and another. But as you say, Nick, we got the president. We got the president we deserved, perhaps.
Get the leaders we deserve, bro. Okay, moving on to some slightly more pleasant news, some dates for the diary. Okay, so as we said, it's going to be a very big week. Wednesday, this is the busiest earnings day of the year. We've got Microsoft earnings. All eyes are on the Azure cloud growth. Crucially, it's FY 27 CapEx guidance. So after Alphabet's $205 billion shocker, that sent the stock down 5%. Investors they're primed to hit the sell button. So we need to see what Microsoft comes out with. And then we've also got Meta earnings. So it's already raised its FY 2026 CapEx guidance by $10 billion to $136 billion. So the question is whether Zuckerberg's admission, which is that AI agents are growing or slower than expected, the adoption of AI agents is slower than expected, is now potentially reflected in their revised expectations.
Yeah. And then what else have we got coming this week before July finally
Thursday,
ends?
July 26th, we've got a double header of PCE price index and the GDP, of course. Fed's preferred inflation gauge. We remember CPI came in a bit lower than expected. Expectations for the PCE are 3.7% headline and 3.3% core. We also got the Amazon Q2 earnings, so focus on the AWS cloud growth and CapEx commitment. They've already guided to about $200 billion in FY 2026 CapEx spend, so keep an eye on that. And then, of course, the big one, FOMC rate decision. A hold is widely expected, but the statement in the conference is very important. We've got three things to watch. One is, does the statement acknowledge that oil above $90 changes the inflation picture? Does WASH signal any September potential hike or any shift in the question of data dependence language? So if you have a hawkish hold and the dollar goes up, risk assets go down. Whereas if it's a neutral hold in terms of neutral language, just a bit of a relief rally. And then finally, rounding all off on Friday, we've got Apple's Q3 earnings, Q2 earnings, and it's like revenue consensus is $97 billion. The key question is, how is the iPhone performing? Is China given the Huawei competition? And then questions about intelligence monetization. And the big question, of course, is any statements around, we do know that Apple is involved in a little bit of a lawsuit with one of their partners, and that's OpenAI. So we'll see if there's any statements about that.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, just before we go, I want to flag a couple of things here. A very interesting question from the wonderfully named Afterbirth Bob. I think this is in relation to BitMEX, Bitmart, etc. Are these the dead bodies floating that people talked about from October the 10th? Yeah, that's an interesting thing to consider, isn't it? Like, we talked back then how bad that was for crypto, and in retrospect, that really was a sort of extinction level event. Do you think there's some truth to that? Do you think like maybe that was what accelerated their demise?
Definitely a contributing factor, for sure. I mean, I wonder how many are out there with like very compromised balance sheets, any sort of liquidity that's been collapsed. But also, it's just like we know how badly 1010 crushed the crypto market itself, and traders just stopped trading. So I mean, that's probably why. And in Bitmart's case, I mean, it's crazy because I met the chaps. To the extent that they were at conferences, they're an OG exchange. But yeah, who knows, man, how badly compromised the balance sheets was. And not only that, I think like 4 weeks ago, a month ago, we had news that Ascendex, which is also, I think BitMax, originally BitMax or something like that, Ascendex, they also went under. But this time they basically didn't announce their close, and they just they kind of rugged. So yeah, it's not looking good out there right now.
Yeah. Of course, October 10th was the result of a whole load of leverage built up in the system. But given what we were talking about just a moment ago, remember who triggered that whole cascade, and that was one Donald J. Trump with his announcement of tariffs as well. So once again, thank you, Mr. President, for everything that you have done for this industry. And yes, before we sign off, folks, apologies for the interruption to the YouTube stream there. I know that was a bit inconvenient for some of you. Fortunately, there were other places. And as Brett points out, thank God for Twitch, or I wouldn't have been able to watch a billionaire and his caveman friend. Brett, really, you shouldn't talk about Nick like that. I don't think he's a caveman at all. I know he's South African, and it can be confusing.
So primitive. I'm so primitive over here with my Raffigan hair and my unshaved look. Yes,
exactly. Don't let the accent fool you. He's actually very civilized. Anyhow, let's leave it there for today. Nick, I'll see you back in Dubai in a couple of days' time. Looking forward to that.
Safe travels. I hope you've got anti-missile defense attached to you.
Well, I'm taking the Coin Bureau jet that I believe is still in operation, and I think it's got built-in missile defense systems as well, so it should be okay. I mean, I think we did well to spend the money on a real top-of-the-range private jet. Yeah,
and unlike Trump, we made sure before we flew in the jet that it had the anti-missile defenses embedded, right?
Exactly.
So, exactly. This latest jet, yeah. And we bought we weren't given it by a sheikh. We actually bought it on our crypto profits. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Feels like a long time ago. All right, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Keep watching across all our other channels. Nick and I will be back with your next news update next week. So we'll see you all then. Adios.
See you then, guys.
I saying he liked the Odyssey makes me question his advice. We're still waiting to win, Mr. President.
The party's starting. Woke up in a red next.